Welcome back to the Optimize You podcast, the place where we're helping you optimize looking and feeling your best. If you enjoy the show, be sure to share it with a friend, like, and subscribe. And let's get into today's podcast. So we're going to dive into community, the power of community. What is it? What's my definition of it? How do I feel like I've used it to my advantage in the past? And maybe how potentially you can use it and pull some things from this and hopefully really use it as leverage. So if you've been, let me back up. If you've been struggling, right? If you've been to the point where you're like, man, I know that I need to do something. I am waiting for motivation. I know I need to improve my health and fitness. I know I want to improve my ability to look good and feel better. And ultimately my health, longevity, of whether it's to have energy to play with the little ones, to be more attractive towards your spouse, whatever it may be. Those are common things that I hear from clients that when they first start working with me, those are common issues that they have and things that they want to work past. And so, although a lot of my coaching that I do is one-on-one, I think the power of community is huge. And what I mean by that is people usually, generally speaking, before they start working with me, is they're in my ecosystem in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's a Facebook group, whether they've been following me on Instagram, whether I've coached them in person and I've actually been in the gym community with them and coached them face to face, whatever it is, they can get a good sense and awareness around what I personally am truly about, what I care about, what I'm passionate about, the things and techniques and ways that I coach, the conversations that we have. Those are all things that are part of community and a leader in a community. Now, the way that that leader leads the community branches off in spider webs to the entire community as a whole. And when that happens, assuming that the person at the forefront or the group or handful of people at the forefront are really speaking truly from their heart, they're passionate about what they do, they're not in it for selfish reasons. They're in it to actually serve and help and better the environment and people and impact them around them. If that's the case, you can find yourself in some really, really cool communities, some really cool environments that are extremely beneficial to you helping and getting towards your goal. One of the reasons that I feel it's been challenging for a lot of people in the past is because they try to do it by themselves. And you might be in this boat as well. Maybe you've tried to look up the answers on YouTube, or now we have AI, right? You've asked Chat GPT. I know this was a popular one of asking Chat GPT to make you a meal plan. And generally speaking, when I hold if I were to hold two meals out in front of you and say, okay, pick the healthier option, pick the one that you feel like is going to get you to your goals faster and more efficiently. 9 times out of 10, people can choose the right plate, right? Like if I had a plate of pizza and donuts and I had a plate of chicken, some vegetables, things like that, like people know what's the more beneficial thing, right? So it's not a matter of information. The information is out there is free. One of the aspects that I feel like a lot of people are missing or lacking is this community aspect. And what I mean by that is just like you can be in a community of like-minded people doing things that aren't beneficial from you, right? They always say you're the sum of the 5 people that you hang around most. It's so true. Look around the people that you've been surrounded by or tend to be by day in and day out, whether you choose to or not consciously. Let's just say whether it's in your work environment, it could be family members, could be your friend circle, etc. If they don't have healthy habits, it's extremely easy for you to not have healthy habits as well, right? So anytime you put yourself in a like-minded environment, it's very easy to do what's cohesive of the group, what the entire group is doing, what the general overall circumstances that is done most of the time. And if that is not focused on things like improving your health, your well-being, your overall energy levels, the way you look, the way you feel, the way you operate, and you're not constantly trying to improve that because the people that you're around aren't even concerned with that, that's not even on their radar, it can be challenging for you. So if you look back in your past and go, man, I really didn't have a support system. I really didn't have a support circle. I really wasn't surrounding myself around people who were focused on those things, who were truly focused on bettering their health, their overall living circumstances. And they were just trying to survive. They were working their 9 to 5. They were operating at higher levels of stress. They were making food choices based out of convenience and what tasted best and what was cheapest. And before you know it, you start doing those things as well. You follow suit, right? You start picking the convenient choice. You start picking the cheap option. You start hanging around the friends that are doing these things. And of course, you're going to end up doing them anyways, by default, just subconsciously, because it's what you do. It's what you do in your community, in your tribe. Now, if you've ever been around a group of badasses, group of people who truly are looking to better themselves, who literally want to day in and day out are looking for ways and circumstances and tips and tricks and habits that they can get into that are going to serve them better because they're looking to improve their life, the way they look, the way they feel, like all levels, right? They're trying to operate on all levels and improve all levels. When you hang around people that are doing that constantly, day in and day out, guess what happens? You start doing it as well. And it becomes much easier. And although the majority of my coaching is online, that's the community that I try to create. I try to give some comfort in knowing, like, hey, you might feel alone right now because nobody else in your immediate family or your friend circle or your coworkers are focused on improving how they look and feel and trying to optimize their life in every aspect and trying to become better. But we are, and we want to welcome you with open arms. And so when you do that and you surround yourself around people like that, you absorb their content, you listen to what it is that they have to say, you're excited about learning and getting better at it. And you want to just know, little bits and nuggets that you can get on a day in and day basis so that it's a compounding effect day in and day out through constant repetition and doing it over and over and over. When you're around a group of people who are also interested in that, it becomes contagious. It becomes much easier versus if you kind of got to like white knuckle and grit and grind through it. And you're like, man, my immediate circle of people they're not concerned with these things. They're not focused on these things. I am, and I truly want to become better. But it's very difficult when I got to do this by myself, right? And so if you've ever said that to yourself, the good news is there's so many different kinds of communities out there, not just mine or not just Alex's communities out there. Ours are, of course, I'm going to be biased. Ours are phenomenal. But however, just finding a community in general, right? Like Facebook groups are great in your local city, in your local town. Joining a gym is always great. I know it can be intimidating, but even just like getting around a group of people who are like, hey, we're going to go out to, there's a lot of like outdoor local like boot camps. If they still do that, I know that was really popular when I was coaching in person. Having local boot camps like at the parks every like first and second Saturdays of the month was always super cool, right? Like it's minimal equipment. It's a group of 15, 20, sometimes 30 people. And you guys are just all there to get better, to get a good sweat in and start your Saturday off with some phenomenal camaraderie, a great workout, some great chatter, some great communication. And it's also great networking people, just to be around like-minded individuals who are all looking to pursue the same thing or similar in variation, but everybody's moving in the same direction. Everybody's on the same ship. It's much easier to set sail. If you can look at your own circumstance and go, man, it's been more difficult for me in the past because here you are trying to set sail on your ship and you have all these anchors holding you down, all these people holding you down, all these circumstances holding you down that could care less of whether you get to your goal or not because they're so selfishly concerned and focused on them. They don't care about your goals, man. They care about doing what's best for them. They want to include you in that because misery loves company. They can be unhappy people. They can be miserable. They can be fat. They can be overweight. They could be borderline type 2 diabetic if they're not already. And you're feeding into those continual habits that they already have pre-existing as their community. And so, although they don't wave their flag and say, hey, we're obese, we're mediocre, and we like making shitty, horrible decisions, and our energy's low, and we're waving our flag, come be on our team. They're doing that. It's just flying under the radar. And so just like I'll stand here and say, hey, my community will welcome you with open arms if you identify as a go-getter and you want to do this and you want to make this happen for yourself and you want to become better and you want to prioritize and learn how to eat single ingredient, high quality foods and operate at higher levels so you can be optimizing your life and how you look and how you feel. That's my community. That's my group of people. We say start sloppy. You don't have to come in here and be perfect. Nobody is, nor will you ever be during your entire journey, right? Nobody ever has, nobody ever will be. So I think a lot of people get that misconstrued, like, oh, I'm going to join that community. I'm going to join that group of people when I start working out. And then so I don't look like the newbie when I get a little bit better in shape. I used to hear that all the time when I was managing gyms. It's like when I talked to prospects who came in and saw one of our ads or was just inquiring about the gym itself, they just say, oh, okay, my plan is to come work out with you, but I'm going to get in shape first. It's like, no, that's what we do. Like every single one of us that are inside these four walls at this gym, we started exactly where you're at. And a lot of us in worse cases. And so you have to remember your approach needs to be when you're joining your community, it's going to feel awkward. You're going to feel maybe a little bit of pressure, maybe a little bit of uneasiness. You're going to feel nervous. Hopefully part of you also feels excited because you know this is new change and you know you're going to be able to better yourself, but you will feel uncomfortable. You will feel uneasy because it's new. It's stretching you. And I encourage you guys to lean into that feeling and just understand that everybody, especially when you're joining a health and fitness or a community of just go-getters who are there to improve themselves, they will absolutely welcome you with open arms because they've been in your shoes. They know what it feels like starting day one to be out of shape, to be overweight, to make shitty decisions, to feel terrible, to lack confidence, right? To experience all of these things. And that's exactly how we want you to show up to our community. I can speak for myself. That's exactly the best time to show up is when you're feeling all of those things. That's what our community is for. And when you get around people who are looking to improve their life in every single aspect and helping each other out. Remember, the tide lifts all boats. That's our approach. It's not like so-and-so is doing better, or since you're brand new and you're not quite advanced yet, that you're going to struggle and nobody's going to talk to you. We think those things when we're brand new, right? We think that, man, I lack confidence. They're going to make fun of me. Nobody's going to want to talk to me. I'm the new person. Like, just like how we did when you transferred into a new school or you just first day of high school, right? It's like the same thing. It's the same thing that's been ingrained in us forever. But being able to get over that, I encourage you to lean into those feelings of uncomfortableness, because it shows a sign that you actually want better for yourself. Like you want to do better. And if you want to do better and you're willing to do what it takes, I only have 2 rules for people to join my community. Actually, it's not for joining my community. It's actually to become coached by me. But I'll tell you what they are. There's only 2 prerequisites, and they're very low barrier, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't follow them, and therefore they continue to struggle. So number 1 is put your ego to the side, check your ego at the door, be coachable, be somebody who wants to learn. That's first and foremost. If you come in our community and you think you know it all, trust me, everybody's going to sniff you out immediately and you're not going to belong. But if you come in with an open mind and you're like, I don't know everything, I'm going to put my ego aside and I want to learn, I'm here to get better, you will crush it. Combine that with rule number 2. There's only 2. Rule number 2 is be willing to find a way versus finding an excuse. You found an excuse your entire life up until this point, which has got you the outcome that you currently have right now, right? It's not desirable. You probably have low energy. You probably really are not kind to yourself, right? And so in order to do that, that is a compounding effect time and time again of finding excuses, of finding ways to not do the things that move the needle for you in the right direction. Oh man, my boss was addicted to pointing the finger, right? Taking the victim mentality. That's not going to do it. And we don't do that here in my community, and nor any community that's extremely beneficial for you in terms of uplifting each other, specifically in the health and fitness world. Like those are going to be extremely positive communities to be a part of. And you will find excuses few and far between in those communities because they're go-getters. They do things when they don't feel like it. They understand that consistency wins this game time and time again. Regardless of how you feel, we get shit done day in and day out. So if you want to identify as somebody like that, again, we have Facebook groups, become part of the community, join them, even at your local gym, even if it's not my community or Alex's community, go join a local gym. You can find Facebook groups like there's people out there. It doesn't have to be people that you know already. Matter of fact, it's going to probably most likely be people that you don't know, which is great, right? Meet new people who have common goals and common themes and things that they can relate to you that are directly correlated to the direction that you want to go. And little by little, you're going to start to see the old crowd, your old community, the one that wasn't beneficial for you. They're going to start dropping like flies. You don't even have to do anything. They might even say, oh, you're changing. Oh, you're not the same. And you can turn right back to them and say, yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's exactly what I want. I don't want to be the same. I am changing and I am becoming better. And the right ones, you'd be surprised, the right ones will jump on ship and they'll jump on board with you. The wrong ones that were never meant to be with you in the first place, the ones that had the crabs in a bucket mentality, as soon as they see you climbing out, they try to pull you back down. They were never meant to be a part of your entire journey anyways to begin with. They might have been part of a small chapter, but you don't have to give them attention. They don't deserve anything. So I say all that just to say, find your community. They will welcome you with overwhelming amounts of love and encouragement and support. And I promise you, it'll make it 10 times easier for you to reach your goal just by becoming a part of community. So if this was helpful for you, if you found this beneficial, share it with a friend, share it with a family member, share it with somebody you know you could benefit from it, especially if they're looking to improve themselves. They want to increase their energy. They want to optimize their life in all areas. They want to improve their health and fitness, and they just want to become the badass they know they're capable of. Share this with them. Until then, we'll see you guys on the next one.